Hey guys, just to let you know that this video is sponsored by Antkeeping Depot. In this video I'm going to be moving my Lasius niger colony that I collected last year from just outside my gate into a Wakushi Venus founding nest system that you may have seen in a recent review for, and if you haven't, I'll pop it in the top right corner now. So as you see, they're doing okay. But one of the times they lost a few workers just before one of the test tube changes, and it's getting a little difficult without any sort of outworld, so I want a really tiny outworld, and that's why I've chosen the Venus. I had it on hand and it's pretty much built exactly for this reason. You get a little outworld and plenty of redundancy in the test tube. So I'm going to be using this substrate. It's Stone Desert, and I must say it's a hidden gem in the rough, because when you wet it, because it's a mix of sand, clay and all sorts, it actually firms up, but it's still diggable, but it doesn't move loosely like sand once you've wet it. So it's like sand now, and you sort of make something out of it. So for me, I'm only wanting the hardening properties to stop the sand moving when I pick this colony up. No sand will move, but it's still diggable. It's doesn't harden too hard. So I've gone ahead here now. I'm going to spray this into place. So I put it in loose misting spray of water onto it. Now that will sort of harden off and stick to each other, but it's easily diggable with your finger and everything. It will mean that you can pick it up and put it at certain angles without all your sand moving. But it's actually designed, the stuff is from the reptile world, and it's really good how I stumbled onto it, because you can wet it and then mould stuff out of it. You should check it out, it's really quite cool. But as you see here, I've just PTFE'd up the inside, so I don't have little ants on the underside of the lid, left, right and centre, every time I want to go inside. So there we go, the little mini outworld is set up, and I'm ready here. I'm just going to go with something like a 95% water. I don't want to give them room to move into the wrong test tube. Then I'll give them some similar ones, but I'm going to give them two different ranges here. I'm going to give them a 50% water, and something more like an 80% water of the two founding ones. So they should be able to pick. So after coaxing most of the ants out, they moved into the corner. Then I just tapped the rest of the ants out that were playing hard to move, as the test tube really needed to go. And once the queen's out and most of the eggs have been moved, the stragglers behind, I will evict. Gently tap them in to a piece of cotton wool placed inside the mini outworld. It's easy peasy. So they set up here in the corner for quite a while. I think they found the environment suitable because the sand is damp at the moment and the humidity is fine for them, so they didn't really have a drive to go looking for the test tubes. Although interest was shown in the test tubes, the queen didn't find that very interesting. As you see, I'll just put the red acrylic overlay on and we'll see how they like. So pay attention to the middle test tube opening. As you can see how I laid the sand, and now it's dried off, it's hardened here, so the sand can't be blown. If I blew as hard as I can on that sand, it won't move, but if I rub it with my finger, it'll just go away. That's what I really find cool about this burrowing sand. Oh, it's like a mix, but it's all natural, no chemicals, so it's totally safe for your ants. But as you can see, a lot of the nests have set up in the outworld, and like I say, I think it's because of the moisture in the sand. As soon as that's fully dried and hardened, I don't think they'll find it so enticing. I think there will be a requirement for the workers to go and find a nice, humid, dark place. If they don't start moving soon, what I'm going to do is use strong, pure white LED light to get them to move in. And that's exactly what I ended up doing. This is now the next day. As you can see, everybody moved out, so I cut the requirement of the light. And what you can see what they've done here, they've dug up a load of that sand that molds very well, and they've started encasing the opening. Well, because this sand will sort of stick to itself, none of it fell into the test tube, and the sand is designed not to collapse when it's been burrowed in, and it seems to be doing exactly that. I don't know why, but I found this the coolest part, seeing them sculpting the sand into place. I know it's just normal behaviour, but I've never actually had a substrate that could be moulded in this manner. So, really quite liked it a lot. I need to get some mini Outworld dishes, something like extremely small, smaller than anything I currently have, so I can feed them and everything. But for now, I just got a very small piece of cotton wool. I held it, put a few drips into it, and then lowered this tiny piece, saturated, into the mini Outworld. Because they're extremely little ants, so they really don't need a lot of anything. They're making this tiny Outworld look huge, but it really isn't. We're zoomed in at like 6x at the moment, and yeah, they're not very big at all. But I really am hoping that they do better than they have been. They were doing really well, then they weren't, then they were doing a bit better, but then the progress slowed. So, with summer and the new environment, the more reliably fed, cleaned and changed food, the test tube was disturbing them every time I had to go in, swiping out little bits of grape and mealworm and stuff like that out of the test tube. It was disturbing the queen. I think all of this added up to me losing the momentum of the colony and the workers dying off. So I'll keep you up to date on this colony, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.